Hi, this is Birdine Nickens, and I want to say first before I get started on my tape talking about relationships and how they are developing, what you see going on, and when you discover what's really going on. Okay, first I want to say, everyone be careful during these holiday seasonings because we have people who have been missing, and in the media, everyone has been talking about that continuously about how people have been coming up missing, especially our black Afro Americans children, Afro American children, and how people have been being given keychains and their trackers, and how folks are getting out of vans and putting stuff over the people's nose to uh, where they pass out, and they can just drag them on into the van. So be watchful and be careful, and have some safe and wonderful holidays. And I will be praying for you all. And I want to also say thank you to those people who are relentless in sticking with me on my videos and being subscribers. I just really appreciate you. And I pray that you have the best of holidays and all of that. And also, I want to say thanks to in my town of Springfield here, Missouri, there are at least 5 or 6 people who that I have been able to count on as really good friends who have been there with me through thick and thin, and we respect each other and each other's privacy and all of this. So I'm not calling their names out, but they know who they are because they're there, constantly with me doing this or that from time to time. And I surely do appreciate you. I want you to know that. And um, with all of that said, I don't like wasting a lot of time because, we can. I need all of mine to figure out where I'm going, what I want to do, try to get my planning together. So that's why I don't like a lot of time. Sometimes you get on tapes and I've told you many times before that how I like to conserve the time, and get to what I'm talking about. So bear with me because the only editing that I do is like once this video is done, I'll look back and say, oh, I assumed that they knew what was in my head. And I left that little part off or whatever. But I had been struggling for like 9 months, almost a year, with, remember I told you about a clinical trial that I had. And right here is where I got cut. Right, I don't know if you can see it real good, but right here, I have to use my glasses to look at it. It's where I was cut on. And they took that needle out, which went into my arm right here. It went right from this side here, and somehow with them moving it back and forth, that needle when they was taking blood, to test the medicine that we were using, it must have lodged itself on the side here. So those who did it say, "Oh, we didn't do it," and they always say that. I don't care what company it is. They're trained to say, "Oh, it wasn't us. It must have been the little men's in outer space or something." But that's neither here nor there. I'm just letting you know that affected my ability to track what I was saying in my head and stay with, on the track. I would be on the track, but it would be like some stuff would be in my head and wouldn't come out. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I believe I'm doing a lot better now, and my eyes are doing better. You can see that. Let me take this off so you can see they're doing better too. So those are little things I want to get out of the way before I start talking about relationships and things, okay? And this is going to be a tough one for me because it touches me pretty deeply. And I'll try to be a big girl. I think I got some big, nice size panties on to be able to say what needs to be said in a most pleasant way. I try to do things. One thing I have learned through my little times is to try to be nice and whatever it is, because I know some people they're really good with that, and they don't mean we ain't gonna say. but they know how to talk nice and sweet. Let's just get on. Let's just get on to what I'm supposed to be talking about. Sometimes when we enter into relationships, we're not paying attention to how we are developing those relationships. When someone develop a relationship with you through the media, that's one thing. I mean, I can't tell you anybody what to do. It's your thing. Do what you want to do. I can't tell you who to sock it to and who not to. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not trying to do that. I just want to share with you what I'm learning, what I've learned, okay? And that is that, and I wish I could have seen it, yes, I am, over 40. I'm telling my age, and I'm like, yeah, we're going to make her look just as old as she says she is. Back to the point, my dear lady. Me. If they're on the media, someone says to you things like, you really are sexy. I love the way you look. Let me tell you something. I want to say something, but I tried. For my Christian friends, I try not to say what was really in my mind, but I'm gonna say it in a nice way. Uh, Squash that, okay? Squash that. And and listening to what people are saying can be very, very helpful. Because sometimes when you are communicating with a person, and I'm not one of these people who say, well, a man do this, a woman do that, squash that. And squash is my sweet way of saying, I ain't going to say it, but you get my point, right? So, so if they're saying that, you need to move on to another stage of the mind. And, like usually all my tapes is about self-awareness, family, and community. And family is not always those that's kin to you. You know what I'm saying? I've found some really, really wonderful people who is, been just as greater to me as anybody could possibly be, no matter whether it was blood or not blood. They've been just all that anyone could know how to be to someone. Do you understand what I'm saying? Now, what I'm getting to is this here, that I lost my train of thought there, and I know you can tell that. So that's one of the effects of dealing with stuff that happens to you in your arm and different things like that, and operations and cuttings and things. So but I do want to say thanks about the ones who did operate on me. They did well. But anyway, back to what I was saying about. I believe I was getting to the point where I was saying that when you dealing with people in relationships and you all are communicating through the media, what they say is not necessarily what they mean, but a lot of time what they say will be helpful if you take it into consideration. A lot of time we don't take it into consideration. We'd be like, okay, they just saying this or they just saying that, but it'd be a whole lot to what they're saying. And a lot of people in their videos have told us that, like if a person's saying, well, I can't be like a husband or a wife to you because of this or because of that. They're simply saying, I'm not really into a relationship right now. And you may be thinking one thing while they are telling you in a nice way something different. So, and I know where I was at when I was on the self-awareness part about the self-awareness. First of all, we have to be aware of who we are, what we want, and what we are developing. And, we have to look at ourselves financially, emotionally, spiritually, and just, how we balance all this out. If we are a person who don't know how to stand on our own, we can depend on someone else so much until we really lose ourselves. That has happened to me before. I've been married 3 times. The first one, 2 years. All of them nice people. Everybody has their own things that they have to work on. You know what I'm saying? And many times we cannot help a person be what they need to be. But I know that we can become so dependent on people that we lose ourselves. One of the things I learned about that was this here too, that if I'm depending on someone so much that I cut off my friends and I cut off everybody, and these people want to dictate to me how did I communicate or whatever, because it's up to me to do the right thing. If I can't trust myself to do the right thing, I don't think anybody else is going to be able to make that me in me do what it wants to do. Do what they want it to do. Because the person in themselves already has a mind about how they want to do. And the thing that I learned also is this here: when we depend on somebody so much, it'll go so far, because that is just how life is. Life got some things for you that you down the road you wouldn't even believe, because the second marriage I was like 20 years in it, and I really thought that I was going to do that. But when I go back and you start from the beginning, and you know who you are from the beginning, you know what you want from the beginning, and you really evaluate and meditate on it, and you'll find that a lot of times we started off wrong from the very beginning. I know, a lot of people say, well, people have been married 3 years. What can they say? They done been divorced and everything like that. And in my case, the two of the husbands, the second and the third, they are deceased now. Only the first one is still alive. And we were only married 2 years. And the other two, I was married much longer, because you can see there that I had kind of learned something. Relationships do have their advantages, though. No matter what kind of relationship it is, you do gain knowledge if you pay attention to the universe, pay attention to what's going on, pay attention to how things develop, and all of this. And I don't want to say too much, because I don't want to incriminate myself for one reason. Uh, but I do want to say that when you develop a relationship, if you don't know how to be happy with yourself before you start these relationships, and there's going to be some times when you're going to say to yourself, man, I'm eating out by myself, I'm cooking by myself, I'm enjoying this by myself, and I'm enjoying my walk by myself. In my case, I'm enjoying by myself a lot of times. You know what I'm saying? Because that was the way it always has been in my life. No matter who it was I was with, there was a lot of things I had to do alone. And those things, I just learned to enjoy them things, because nobody's bothering me. I remember there were times when, with my second husband, he loved the way I cook, and I love to experiment with stuff. Sometimes he'll say, David, don't change this at all. This is so good. And most of the time he say this all the time. And he had this cute little little doll that he would put money under, because he would be like, this is your tip. And it wouldn't be a little bit of money, it would be a lot, because we were 1/10 of millionaires, my second husband and I. And excuse me, I lost my place again. It'll come back to me though, because I was like at the place where I was trying to say not depending on people too much, and how things would turn out when you do, and that you won't suspect, because we were pretty good together. We worked together. I was an administrator of our business together, and after like 17 or 18 years, things started, things were already going on, because if you don't check what's going on, you can't check what's going on. It just got to be something that, some things we just go through in life. Everybody wasn't meant to stay in your life. I did a song on one of my tapes that I played and sing and composed, that everyone wasn't meant to stay in your life. Sometimes they just come in to teach you a lesson, and they are out. Sometimes those lessons takes a while too, because after 20 years, who would have thought, and I know some people got divorces. Excuse me, I cut off myself. Who would have thought that after 20 years, there would be a divorce, but there are some people who have been together like 50 years and all of this, and you'd be like, what because sometimes people are just tolerant and they just don't want to be alone. They're afraid of being alone. And I used to be that way in my earlier years. I used to be afraid of being alone. But now I'm afraid of being with someone, to be honest with you, because I don't want to disappoint them, and I definitely do not want them to disappoint me. And there you just have to sit down and figure out what you're willing to put up with, and that may not be something quite feasible for people's life. A lot of time people ain't trying to talk about no put up with, you want all the joy and pleasure you can get out of life. And when you're younger, you think this is pleasure, you think this is joy, but then as you get older, you begin to see things that you never even thought you could see. You'd be like, is that the real truth? So the real way that life is, I remember when I used to read the Bible religiously, I mean day after day, all the time, and there was something in there that says increased knowledge brings sorrow, because you begin to see things and you begin to understand and you begin to pick up what others see, what other people know, and you put and add it all together, and then you realize that a relationship is not what you think it is all the time. There people are sometimes looking for someone to match their financial status. Sometimes they're looking for people to match their sexual status. Sometimes they're looking for people, to be everything. The song, every woman, it's all in me. And so, they're looking for someone to be everything, because I had that problem too. And I was like, okay, he's, and then, I actually was looking for God, God in the person. And you could see it too, because the person would be kind of wonderful. And then later on, you realize they're just in the physical form as a human, as you are experiencing going through human experiences, and they have their moments of ups and the downs, and they're not always what you hope you will see, and what you expected, because when you begin to see their vulnerability, in the beginning of love, sometimes that, like I say, that beginning could be 20, 30, 40 years, and you think, wow, after 20, 30, 40 years of this here, now I really know. And that's the same way it is when we sometime embark upon relationships. It'd be a while before we really figure out, oh, this is not what I thought. This is not, that they are not giving me what I give them. They're not, we are not communicating. They're not trying to spend any time to figure out how to be with me. I'm doing all the chasing. They're not doing any of the chasing, but they'll give you a little sweet line here or there, and that which is not, like I told you, squash that, because that is not going to be, if you are any emotional, any caring, when there's a time and you may call them or text them and you don't get an answer back or whatever. And they may be busy and they may really have something going on. And you might teach yourself and train yourself, oh, you can't expect folks to jump to your whip and wham every time you call, whatever. But when it continues to happen after time after time, you've got to do something different. I'm here to tell you. Now that one is incriminating there, okay? So what I'm saying is that, people who really are interested in you, they're going to put the investment in you, not hiding out. You don't know who they are, where they are, when they are, but you thinking this one could be them. You get the way you think every damn body you talk to is them, because they hide out. That's not good. That is not good. And it happens. I know I'm not the only one now. But I'm saying that I'm sharing something that is a little personal to help you. That I hope it helps you, because it took me a while, and it's taking me a while. And these things is like, like being on crack, being on these Missouri lotteries here, stuff like that. Being on alcohol, you got to have a bottle every time you turn around. It's, you can't get through a day without a bottle of beer or a can of beer or something. This is an addiction, kind of thing. And, so I want to sort of remind you of that. And I'll sum it up as best I can because I said so much. And like I say, I usually, there's no editing in my tapes, because after doing a long tape like this, you look back, you don't care how you said it or how you did it. You're not trying to re-say this because you're speaking from the heart. And that's what I usually do when I'm talking. I'm usually talking from the heart or from what I've experienced, And my main thing is just staying focused. And I'm getting there because I'm getting better and stronger. So I said a lot of times we start off the wrong way in a relationship. We have expectations that are not being met, period, in no form, fashion, or shape. In our mind, we have one thing going on, and in reality, there's another thing going on. If we do not know how to be honest, sincere with ourselves, that's going to be a problem right there in itself. If we don't know how to love ourselves and accept the fact that all the time somebody's not going to be there to rub your feet, somebody's not going to be there to rub your back, somebody's not going to be there to give you good loving, you just have to know this sometimes. That's not good. It doesn't feel good, at all. I'm here to tell you it doesn't feel good after being married 32 years and not having the one. Now, don't get me wrong. There's so many people that tries to talk to me, but I'm such a choosy lover. And I'm sorry if that, makes someone upset or disappointed and they get angry with me, but I'm never play games. If I never told you I love you, you know good and well you ain't never had that like that with me. But if I said I care, I cared because that's the person I am. I'm a little, sometimes I've been a little nicer than what I should be, but I'm supposed to be summing up and I'm going into a whole new story. I don't need to do that. But what I want to say, finish out and say to you is this. When we watch the way we come into a relationship and we really listen with our spiritual head, spiritual mind, spiritual knowledge, your third eye, instead of listening with the big eyes that you're looking at, we will hear what's really being said. And it's important for us to interpret the real things that are being said. Because if we're hearing what we think of what we want, then we won't we'll be gathering information, building our life on it. Like for instance, there was a girl once here in town. I ain't gonna call her name. She hear this and she gonna know I'm talking about her. She told me, "Oh, I saw my boyfriend. Oh, I'm in love with him." And somebody passed by in a car. She's seen him 3 or 4 times. She told me she's in love with him, and I said to myself, "Dang, she sure is green. Boy, that is so dumb." And really, I end up the same thing almost happened to me, similar, but not quite as that bad. At least I saw mine. At least there was some kissing or whatever and all this going on. With her, none of that. He just said hi to her. Well, what did he said hi to me? Look at me for laughing. Hell, you gotta say more than hi to me for me to be falling in love so deep, You just, I do know that. I mean, and I'm no better than she is, cause if you playing yourself, it doesn't make a difference how which way you play yourself. You play yourself, you got a lover that ain't a lover. You playing yourself. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if they give you something, if they talk nice to you or whatever, and they're not there for you, and they, into doing what they need to do for their life. It's all good for them. You know what I'm saying? But not too good for you. You understand? So, I hope I summed that up good because I am a person that a lot of things goes in my mind. I don't like wasting time, but if I'm having fun, I don't mind wasting time. See what I'm saying? But anyways, I hope I resummed it all up. It's just being careful about how we develop that relationship. and how we get to know ourselves. Because one of the things that I'm finding out that's more important than all of it put together is knowing yourself. Sometimes you think you want something, and sometimes you'll get in the habit of that something that you think you want, and then as it go on and on, you begin to realize that this is not anything that I want for myself. This is nothing I want for my children. This is nothing I want for anyone. You know what I'm saying? Be wise. And, a lot of times we're not wise. We see somebody and we just go crazy. Hey, this one got my style. This one talk. This one got my walk. This one, got my look. Woo, my goodness. Forget everything else. Squash everything else. It doesn't work that way, because eventually it's going to hurt you inside, and you're going to start seeing. And you know how the enemy going to always tell you some negative stuff anyway. You got enough negative stuff to fight besides building up negative stuff against ourselves. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to run anybody's business. Far be it from that. I got too much of business to straighten out and organize and get together myself. You know what I'm saying? But I thank the Most High for this day. I thank Him for you. And I thank Him for clarity in the head. Clarity everywhere else don't make no difference. It's what you got in your knowledge and understanding that's going to help you get to where you need to go. And they wore the point A and B out, so I'll say from X to Z. You know what I'm saying? So X, Y, Z, right? From X to Z. That's important for us to understand. How it is here, how it is there, what I need to do to get to where I want to go. How do I need to conduct myself? How I need to present myself? How my behavior should be. So, with that, I bid you a pleasant good night and thank you again. Be blessed. Keep smiling. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.